There's something that I'm struggling to understand. I don't know if you can help me with it. Why is it that there is somebody that does not pray, probably doesn't even make dua, far from Islam, and they get married so easily? And there is me, who never misses the salah. I never miss an opportunity to make dua. When it's raining at tahajjud, I go above and beyond to get my dua answered. But there are people that do absolutely nothing. They don't even raise their hands and they get married so easily. Why is this? Why is this? Because I feel like it's not fair. I feel like I'm hard done by. And like, what's the point of it then? What's the point of me making salah and making dua when it just seems to be harder? It makes the fact that I want to get married harder. What is the point? Now, that's not a question that I have about myself. That's a question that a lot of you ask me. And I, thankfully, have an answer for you. So if that sounds like something that you are in need of right now and that you might be interested in, my name is Tarina Shakil and welcome to my channel. So in this episode today, we're going to go back to talking about du'as and the idea that there are people out there that don't do anything to get their du'as answered. They're not even worried about it. Like, they're not stressed about getting married. They're probably entered into haram relationships, no judgment, and they got married so easily. And then there is little old me and you, who you fear Allah as much as you can. You never miss the salah. You never miss an opportunity to make dua. You do anything to get your dua answered. You give sadaqah. You wake up in the middle of the night, literally, to pray tahajjud. You do astaghfar. You're hitting like 1,000 plus a day. What's the point of all of that? Why am I doing this? Exhausting myself. I can't breathe because I don't know if my dua is going to be answered. I wake up every single day feeling so sad as to whether or not my dua is going to get answered. I wake up every day thinking, what can I do more to get my dua answered, and why isn't it happening? It's causing a lot of stress in my life, and it's not fair. How am I being put under so much pressure, and why is it harder for me to get my dua answered, but then there are people out there that it's just so easy for? Why is this, and how is it fair? First of all, it's fair because your reward is with Allah. There are two routes that you could potentially go down when it comes to getting married. You could go down the route of haram and not fear Allah and get married. Or you could go down the route of halal and fear Allah and get married. Now, the haram route, what have you earned along the way to that marriage? Haram and bad deeds. But halal, on your journey towards your nikah, with the struggle, what did you earn? You earned good deeds. You earned hasana. You earned the mercy of Allah. So although the end destination is inshallah the same, which is marriage, that route earns the wrath of Allah. Your route earned the love and mercy of Allah. That is why it's fair. It's fair because you collect more along the way. It's fair because when you get to nikah, you have a marriage that's full of barakah. And I'm not saying that somebody who gets married after having a haram relationship, their marriage won't be full of barakah. I don't know that. I can't say that it's not. But I have watched YouTube lectures that are along the theme of if something starts haram and in a bad way, that it usually ends in a bad way. And I have experienced that myself. That when something starts in a way that it shouldn't start, or if you don't necessarily fear Allah as much as you should with it, that it ends in a terrible way. So, and when I'm talking about haram relationships, there's no judgment on anybody here. Like, it is what it is, and we answer to God. There are people that I know that are, I'm not here to judge anyone's Islam or Iman because it's literally not me and it's not my job, but there are people whose practices are a little bit questionable, should we say, and like, they got married so easily, and I'm like, how the hell is that fair? Like, I understand that question, and like I said, I get asked it a lot. I get it. I've asked that question myself. There is a verse in the Quran, I cannot remember which surah it is, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do they think that because they say we believe, they will not be tested. Now apply that ayah to this situation now. When you make bold statements and you say things like, I want to get married for the sake of Allah. I don't want to enter into haram relationships. I want to do it the halal way. When you make bold statements like that, do you not think Allah is going to test you with that? Do you not? How would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala know? He knows everything, but do you not have to be tested with your sincerity? Because we can all make flippant claims. We can all say things like that. Oh, I'm never going to get married unless it's the halal. Oh, I wouldn't enter into a haram relationship. We can all say things like that. But have you been tested with it? Have you proven that? You will be tested with it. And I get a lot of messages from people. A lot of worry amongst the sisters are, they've been in haram relationships. They've had a spiritual awakening, which is absolutely amazing. And it's like, me and my partner, we were in a haram relationship, but we've decided to leave each other for the sake of Allah, to perfect our deen, to work on our deen and come back to each other. Now, when you make such bold moves and statements like that, you will be tested. You will. Along the way, it won't be so easy for you to get back together. You will have to go through a process of purification. Sometimes when bad things happen to us, we are being purified. And if I just go back to the topic of we decided to leave each other for the sake of Allah and it's getting difficult to come back together, we left our haram relationship. When you were in your haram relationship, you will have encountered some bad deeds, should we say. Now, that needs purifying. You need the mercy of Allah in order to get our du'as answered. Because when we do bad things and commit sins, that can also stop our du'as being answered. And sometimes we are in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a slate of bad deeds. All of us, nobody's perfect. And in order for Allah to give us his mercy, he puts us through these little tests. It's a process of purification. Because if you think about it, when you want something, what do? You go in search for it. Now, how do you search for your du'a to be answered? You wake up for tahajjud, you give in charity. You're doing these things to get your du'a answered. But is there also not a reward in that as well? There is. Every time you wake up for tahajjud, even though you are waking up with the purpose of making du'a at tahajjud, doesn't mean that you don't get rewarded for it. Of course you do. You get the reward for reading Qiyam al-Layl. So sometimes Allah puts the want in our hearts so great for something so that we go in search of it, so that we can earn the mercy of Allah. It's a way of Allah purifying us and our situations. Our qadr is with Allah. We don't ever look at anybody else and say, it's normal to do so, but we don't ever look at anybody else and say, why did they get married so easily and they don't even pray and I pray and I don't get married so easily. It's so normal to do that. I told you myself, I have done that, but I caught myself back quickly. And I realized, I sat and I had a word with myself, and I have told you the advice that I give to myself, I've already given it to you. Our journeys are not the same. We are tested based on our iman. So if someone is not praying, and if someone is not making dua, or just generally far from God, their iman is low. You're tested according to your iman. So if someone who prays 5 times a day, does a lot of dhikr, gives in charity, reads the Quran, just is a godly person, and something is more difficult for you, that is normal. That is normal. Expect delays because Allah told you. You are tested with regards to your iman. The higher the iman, the higher the test. You are tested according to your iman. Allah has already told you that. The higher your faith, the higher the test. So don't be looking at people who are far from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who get everything so quickly, in despair. When you have been told that you will be tested according to your iman is greater, so you're tested. So the people that got things easily in this life, and were not really tested with it because they were far from Allah, on the day of judgment, Allah owes them nothing. Because I made it easy for you. I made it easy for you to get married and you didn't pray. I made it easy for you to have a lot of money and you didn't pray. I made it easy for you to have children and you didn't pray. Today, Allah, owes you nothing. But the people that suffered along the way and were tested with their patience and anxiety. And let's be honest, that's how a lot of us feel when we're waiting for our du'as to be answered. We feel terrible. It's taken over our lives. It's driving us loopy. When we stand in front of Allah and we see not only that Allah answered our du'as because we were patient, but Allah also gives us a reward for our patience. You've got a double whammy. Allah's the most just, remember that. You went through hardships, you went through anxiety every single day. But when you stood in front of Allah, you had two prizes. One was in the dunya, your dua got answered. And two, when you stood in front of Allah, you had a whole load of gifts, which were your patience that you displayed along the way. It's not a game of comparison. Someone has an easy life and they're far from Allah and they don't get tested, they should be worried. You be worried when you don't get tests. Be worried when things aren't difficult for you. I'm honest about myself. I haven't been married for 11 years and I've made a lot of dua to get married. And part of me is thankful that Allah hasn't given it me yet, purely because I'm flying in other parts of my life. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing very well in other parts of my life. So a part of me is worried that, the one thing that I want, it's not the one thing that I want so much. The one thing that I want so much is to go to Jannah and for my family to go to Jannah. But like in this worldly life, it's something that I do want it like quite a lot. Why lie? I do want it quite a lot, right? But I'm thankful that it hasn't happened yet. Because if Allah gives me that, it's like, okay, my life's going too perfect now. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, I need to be tested. I need to be tested because Allah tests the people that he loves. Allah purifies you when he's testing you. So I always want like that little test. And that's part of the reason why I am content with having to wait so long to get married, because I know that that's my little test from Allah. And I know that, because I'm not perfect, no one is, but I know that like I'm treading on right ground, because if Allah's still choosing to test me, that means he loves me. And if Allah tests us, it's only out of his love. And that's because, like I said before, when we are tested, the natural solution to hardship is to turn to the Creator. And how do we talk to the Creator? Dua, salah, dhikr, reading the Quran. How do we come closer to Allah? We listen to talks on YouTube. We try to perfect our character. We try to be the best person that we can. That's how we get closer to Allah, and that's how we talk to Allah. And there are rewards in these things. Brilliant rewards. So if something's difficult for you, don't look in dismay. Say Alhamdulillah, because that is a blessing from Allah. You will get married. You will, inshallah. You will. But your journey was just a little bit more difficult than other people's because you had that bit more of iman than the average person. Because you went about it in the halal way rather than the haram way. Because Allah told us that just because you say we believe doesn't mean you won't be tested. You made a bold statement when you said, I'm not going down the haram route. I've just been over all of these things. You're going to be tested according to your iman. So accept it and be ready for it. Another thing that I just want to quickly touch upon is that a big problem that worries a lot of people is I don't think I'm ever going to get married because I can't find the person. I haven't found the person, and I just don't think that there is somebody for me. Guys, you need to understand this whole thing, it's a spiritual thing. The issue of finding your soulmate, the person that Allah wrote for you, is not face value. It's not black and white. It's deep. It's complex and it's deep. And you guys be running out of patience like it's something that happens like that. Yes, kun fiyakun, be and it is. Yes, Allah can make things happen in the click of a finger. Yes, he can. But you need to understand the complexity behind it. You guys have found each other in other lives, and you will find each other and be separated in every other life. That's how it is. It's deep, it's spiritual. Get to understand it. You guys will have been together in the life before, and you will find each other in this life. It's hadith. The souls that were acquainted, well acquainted before, will become familiar and find each other in this life. So when the time is right, that person, your person, when the time is right, he will find you. And then again, you will be separated by death. One of you will die first. You'll be separated. You'll go into the next life, Hayat al-Barzakh. Inshallah, you'll be reunited there again. You'll have to find each other again there. Inshallah, you find each other. Inshallah, you're going to the same place. Then you'll be disrupted by the Day of Judgment. You'll be separated on the Day of Judgment because it's every man for himself on that day. You won't be holding hands when you cross the Sirat. You won't be holding hands when you stood in front of Allah looking at your scales. You'll be separated. And then again, you will go to the next life. And by the mercy of Allah, it will be Jannah, inshallah. And you will have to find each other again there. You guys exist through every single lifetime. And through every single lifetime, you will be separated and have to find each other again. So have faith in the fact that your person will find you. It's just a matter of time. I keep saying it, and I'm going to say it again. With qadr comes time. We always say qadr Allah, the fate of God, whatever God's written. We always say it. We throw them words around so easily. Qadr Allah. But we forget to also take on board that the qadr of Allah, what God has destined, comes at its specific time. Not a second earlier, not a second later. You just haven't met that time yet. You haven't reached the time when you find the person that you're going to marry. So be easy on yourself. Understand the complexity of the situation. Don't compare your situation to other people's. And see it as a mercy from Allah. You are earning nothing but good deeds when you're being tested with waiting for your spouse. Leave other people. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they never prayed a salah in their life. It doesn't matter if they know how to read the Quran. Leave them people. That's for them. Stop looking at other people. Look for yourself. Look for yourself. I don't compare myself to anybody. I don't look at anybody. I learnt my lesson with doing that. I strengthened my tawakkul, and I realized that maybe Allah loves me more. That's why Allah's making me wait. And I'm happy with that. I'm content with that. If I'm waiting now to find my spouse, if I've been waiting 11 years to find my spouse, and I've been making a lot of dua in that time, and the girl next to me has never prayed a salah in her life and she got married straight away, I'm content with that because Allah loves me more. What more do we want than the love of Allah? So take it easy on yourselves. You have a responsibility to yourselves, and you have a duty to yourself. Your mental health is in your hands. Your health, your well-being is an amana from Allah. You are in charge. This body and your health, you're on loan from God. You're on loan from Allah. So look after it. Look after your mental health. Take care of yourself. Don't worry about these things that you can't control. Don't worry about it. Leave it in Allah's hand, and you will get the most beautiful, sparkly gift that comes in glitter wrapping paper from Allah, which is your answered du'as. Be kind to yourselves, guys. I'm gonna go, but I want to leave you with that. Have mercy on yourselves, guys. Be merciful with yourself. That's about all I have for you today. You'll have to come along next time when it'll be a different topic, a different episode, and hopefully I can clear your mind and sort out your little pickles that you've got going on.